Okay, so in this lesson, we're going to take what we have so far and start cleaning it up a little bit so that we can make it work a little bit better with the different types of coins that we have and also with the scale that we adjusted right now. So if you look at the six-sided dice, for example, when we create multiple dice, the spacing is really close to each other because of the new scale I'm working with here. So we'll want to adjust that. And also so that when we do a different number, um, we won't randomize it yet, but that um, that it will duplicate and do all the things that we want it to do correctly based off of the die. So we can build a few different functions that will do that for us rather than just procedurally coding it the way we have it right now. So we can look at this section here. Maybe this that we have here that is working. I'm going to cut that out. Whoa, what happened there? Let's go back into here and copy this and paste it back there because for some reason that closed. Uh, there we go. Just in case. That's the same code that was from Maya, and let's double check that that is running. Yep. Okay. So, and that works. Yep. Okay. It all works. So, what I want to do in here is take this section where we're importing all the different dice, and I am going to cut that out from that section, and we'll create a function, something like import dice type. And here we would need a argument that is dice type, which is the variable that we created here that imports that. That way we know what is actually being imported. So we call this button press import dice type. Okay. So define import dice type, and we can put a variable dice type, so that way we can use that. And then inside of here, paste that, and just make sure that this is all indented correctly. That looks good. So let's copy this and paste it in here. So line 77, global name path not defined. So what happens here is that we are using, if we look at it here, we're using path, and it doesn't know what path is. So maybe I can just do comma path. So that way I can import it as an argument, and then it will link it all together here. So on the button press here, we can do comma path, which is grabbed from this variable here. So let's copy this and paste it in here and test this out, make sure it works. Cool, and it does. we can see that it works here as well. Perfect. So now we've simplified the code here a little bit where all of those lines of code now, we're just importing a single line here that is based off of importing the specific die. Now here, this part here, we can maybe set that up as a different variable as well. Or not variable, but different function. So right here, we're duplicating it. We are randomizing it afterwards, and it's based off of the 6-sided die, but we can adjust that as well. So here, if count is greater than 0, we are going to duplicate a die, and we're going to transform it and whatnot. So let's cut that, and we'll call this duplicate and transform. It's a really long title there, but we'll also add dice type as a variable, so that way we can take that as a consideration for an if statement. So down here, we can define, duplicate, and transform, and dice type as an argument. Then what do we want to do? We have this code in here that we have so far. This is going to basically be if dice type equals 6-sided die. And we'll have one for each type of dice, and all of this goes inside of there so we can indent that. So if dice equals 6-sided dice, then we're going to duplicate the d6, and we are going to transform the dice over. And right now we're taking it based off of row and column attributes, which we have been working with here. We're incrementing it and whatnot, but we're not feeding it in. So let's make sure that we do that into this function. So we can do comma row, comma column. And I'll copy this here and put it in this expression here. And that should work right now. So let's paste this in here, and we should get the 6-sided dice, which is good. And if we have more of them, it should still duplicate them over the way we've been doing it. So that is great. So far, we just need to adjust the spacing now. So let's look at this, and maybe instead of 2, let's try 10, and then we can adjust from there. So we'll copy that, and oops, I copied it. So copy this and paste it in here, and 1 works fine. And if we try 10, Spacing is not quite there. Let's jump it up to 15. I'll just change it here, and once we get it at a correct spacing, then we'll adjust it in the main code. That looks closer, so I guess it's going to end up being 20. Let's run this again. There, we have some spacing there. That works nice. So now I know that 20 will work well. And go back to our code and make sure it is 20 here. And then, now that we have this going on here, we can make sure we have it working for the coin and everything else. So this would be 4-sided, thing jumps up to 6-sided. So let's try to open up the coin and make sure we got the correct name on that piece of geometry. So if we go to coin, and I'm just going to do 1. So it's called D2. D2. And 4-sided, assuming it'd be D4. And then we have the 6-sided. Okay, so let's copy all this, bring it back into Maya. So if we have the coin, we do 10 of them. It's still trying to do the rotations. So let's check out the code right now. We have this whole while loop. I'm gonna end up commenting it out for right now. Oh, maybe not. I just want these if statements for the rotations commented out. There you go. So that way it doesn't try to rotate it and cause an issue. And we'll bring it back when we do rotations in a moment. Or maybe in the next video. Yeah, that's all commented out. Cool. So try running this and do it with coin, and we can do 10. No dot translate Z line 90. Oh, because I didn't change the names of the variables here. So this is going to be D2, D2, D4, D4, and let's try that now. So coin, that's 1, and if we do 10, we have 10 of them. Change it to D4. And here, no object matches name D4. This, for some reason, is called D4, D4. And is it the only one in the scene? Yeah, so I'll just use that as the name, and then that should fix it. So you want to make sure that it is working based off of the names that you've called everything, or that it's importing as. And let's test that and go to four-sided, do 10. There you go. That works correctly. Obviously, the randomization's not proper yet, but we'll fix that. And then in future lesson. So we tested out the coin, the four-sided, and the six-sided should be working fine. Oops. I still have the 8-sided, 10-sided, 12-sided, 20-sided, and percentile that I need to adjust. But I'll do that after I stop recording this video, and in the next video I'll have all of these done, and we'll review what was going on there and continue on with this, getting it rotating correctly and everything else that needs to be adjusted so that we can do multiple dice. All right. See you in the next video.